Terraria's post-colon progression is a very important part of the game, namely because it presents the player with a few choices. Do you blitz through the cultists using whatever you get your hands on to move on to the pillars, or follow a different path and obtain some extremely powerful but optional gear? Today we're going to be looking at one of the best pre-pillar magic weapons in the game, which gets easily missed due to its place in progression. Of course, I'm talking about the Charged Blaster Cannon. For those of you who farm the Martian Madness event, you'd be most familiar with this weapon. As the players who usually miss this, I'd still consider this weapon, as it can make your experience a lot easier without being too difficult to obtain. As mentioned, the Charged Blaster Cannon is a Martian Madness event drop. To summon the Martian Madness event, you have to go to the outer thirds of the world and wait in the space layer. Pearl will spawn, but don't kill it. Let it see you and fly off. Usually, we have to rely on the Martian Saucer mini-boss for the best drops. Lucky for us, the Charged Blaster Cannon doesn't fall in that category, and actually has a 1 in 800 chance to drop from all regular enemies in the event. Although this does sound steep, it's really not when you consider the sheer quantity of enemies that spawn. It takes about 2 to 3 invasions to obtain the weapon, but RNG could go anywhere. So you manage to get your hands on it. Let's take a look at its performance. The Charged Blaster Cannon has quite the variety of firing modes, which are cycled automatically when continuously firing. Starting with the small rapid fire orbs, then larger piercing orbs, until eventually turning into a solid beam which infinitely pierces and deals 1.5 times the base damage. You can also single tap fire this weapon to create a barrage of small projectiles, but of course the main utilization of this weapon is the solid beam, which can deal some absolutely crazy DPS when used in a straight lane of enemies. Even against higher HP targets, it absolutely fries them due to the high amounts of damage per second. Now, if you do get your hands on this weapon, you probably hope it does well against the cultists, as this is the next step in progression, and it very much does an amazing job. The beam is extremely easy to aim and can drain the cultist's health in no time at all, so you're still probably thinking that it's not quite worth using just for one boss fight. However, the nature of this weapon's firing mechanics makes it extremely effective against the Old One's Army event, which is something a lot of players struggle with at this stage. I really don't think there's a more perfect weapon for this event pre-cultists. It quite literally annihilates the line of enemies like they're nothing. It also deals good enough DPS to sort out the mini-boss swiftly. Oh, and if the Destroyer wasn't already Terraria's Abuse Goblin, I figured I'd see just how quickly this thing could take him out, and it speaks for itself. So this weapon is fantastic, but we do have to keep in mind the choices I raised earlier. Arguably, the time spent obtaining this weapon could be spent taking out the cultists and moving straight on to pillar gear. It really depends on the player's experience. If you have no need to hang around this portion of the game, I wouldn't say it's worth your time. But if you plan on farming the Pumpkin Moon or killing side bosses, the Charged Blaster Cannon is absolutely worth getting and will make this whole process a lot easier. But what do you think? If you've used this weapon, what are your thoughts on it? Thank you for watching the video, drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.